Last time on Tarkadia Rising.
Excuse me? What?
Who comes into my chamber? Pfeiffer?
God.
We're worried about you, little one.
Why would you be worried? I am king here.
So she bows profusely, and then she kind of holds up like some sort of like sack offering, and she kind of like holds it to you, and then bows, and then kind of leaves the room. It's about the size of a baseball inside of a.
Peer into it.
Inside of it is a large emerald in kind of the shape of. I kind of want to say like a gusher, where it's.
Oh, is this the monument we're looking for?
There's something here, but it's not anything like. I don't know how to phrase that. What time is it?
Yes. Is there a shadow being cast by the obelisk?
There is a shadow being cast from a light source that you feel like isn't really there.
Is there any sort of like mechanism or lever or anything around the obelisk?
A circular ring area with what looks like a pedestal. In the pedestal, there is a socketed section about the size of a baseball.
The evil golems.
No. Sentry golem. Just tinier versions of the ones you saw before.
Tinier.
We must take one in for processing and the other one as a message. Cantor holds up his hands. All go.
No. Let's
No?
all go.
He only needs one.
No.
If we're gonna go for processing, I'll probably be able to find where the others were
No
taken.
idea what processing means.
I don't either, but this is the best lead I have to find the ones that were taken.
Cantor, we don't know how fast these things can run.
Welcome back to Tarkadia Rising. As you noticed, we went dark. We're trying something a little bit different. We're doing audio only. As much as we like being on camera, we've been having technical difficulties, and by we, I mean me, and by technical difficulties, I mean new camera, plus Cameron has my webcam right now. So
Where am I? Why is it so dark in here?
Wait, we all have dark vision.
Shut up about Tarkees! That was so good. I didn't comment on that, but that was fucking hilarious.
I'll put it up on screen. I found a meme and I sent it to them because it is a running joke now of dark vision. Cameron, would you like to do the honors of reading about what happened last time? Because I think Eileen was out, right?
I was out, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Alrighty. So there was some combat that started with some frog people last time, 2 times ago, and that was right after that we came back. We headed up to the upper floors of the main hut where there was women and children huddling in fear, and we found Pfeiffer sitting on a throne, ruling over the survivors with a baseball size, ruling over the survivors of the frog people, and being very crass, just being
sassy.
all like being very sassy. And so we have to leave, and we convince him to leave with us again instead of ruling over these frog people. And they gave him a big old baseball-sized emerald as a parting gift.
We need to go into
No, we do not!
Yeah. So
Yes, please.
So what happened was they kidnapped him, drug him back to their base camp, and then he fed one of the leader an alchemic potion which killed the guy. They thought he was some sort of like god, made him king, and it kind of got to him over like the time he was like king. So by the time you guys came to rescue him, he was already just like, I'm okay with this. And so you kind of had to convince him to leave.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how it happened. Totally.
He wasn't courting any of the frogs.
No.
Wink, wink.
He only made his favorite one the queen is all.
Yes.
Made another frog a queen, and then we left towards the obelisk. Obelisk was in the middle of a giant clearing with some steps leading up to it, but there was no tracks that seemed to go near the obelisk. The clearing is about a mile in diameter with the obelisk in the middle. The clearing is covered in cobblestones with grass peeking up through the cracks. It looks old and abandoned. Obelisk is casting a shadow, but no discernible light source is present. Pfeiffer notices some etchings around the outskirts of the clearing of a wagon. Faint etchings on the base of the obelisk, but can't tell what it is. Hormir notices a spot on the stairs that seems off. We jump on the spot, and it seems to move a bit. We push the staircase inwards and find a ramp. It is unnaturally dark, and we need torches, because fucking dark vision didn't work. Magical darkness! Under the obelisk is a socket that looks like it fits the emerald. Pfeiffer puts in the emerald, and now it looks like it's night outside. Razden calls me on the earring, wondering where we are, because Dusty literally played like a phone sound effect. And we're all sort of just like looking around like, whose phone is that? And then Dusty's like locking eyes with me, and I'm like, oh, and I like pretend to like flick my earring to like answer the phone, and it was good. Gur grabs my ear and talks to Razden, like on speakerphone. He breaks up as the obelisk starts charging up again. Something about the obelisk and getting something ready to make it back.
Oh, because he was breaking up, and he's just like something like
Oh yeah, this is
to get you back.
Yeah, something about
Breaking
the
up. Gotta go.
Going through a tunnel.
Plot convenience. Temporal distortion.
Yeah. All right, to make it back.
It was the
quote,
magical
quote.
darkness interference.
Yes. Totally. Now it is daytime, and we head outside. The cobblestones are now grass-free, and there's lots of abandoned wagons around the obelisk. The wagons are arranged in a bazaar-like fashion. They're arranged like a bazaar, not in a bizarre fashion, but like a bazaar, with an A. Horomir notices a dwarven tavern wagon. We all grab some beers from the casks and explore around the bazaar. Looks like what looks like an inn with a mural that says "All Hail King Tarkees." I head out and turn around and notice that the obelisk is floating.
King Turkeys.
As I notice the obelisk, a stone golem appears and acts curiously toward us. The golem mimics us but is not hostile. A chime rings out and there's a voice that says, "The market will close in 15 minutes." The golem starts heading back towards the obelisk and enters another entrance like we found earlier. We follow the golem into the cavern. Last page. There's a lot of branching paths, but the golem is mostly just heading straight. Toward the end, the golem makes a left turn into a room with lots of slumbering golems. There are several different varieties of golems. We leave the cavern into the market, and sentinels emerge from another cavern. The sentinels ask for ID and ask us to choose either Kamter or Grur for collateral. Because they're like, identify yourselves. And they're like, we're going to take one of you prisoner to make sure they aren't going to fuck anything up. Anyway, Kamter offers himself up and is taken by the sentinels. They like judo chop him and he just like falls unconscious. And
Is that really what happened?
I don't know if he did get judo chopped.
I don't know. He did like something to him, but like all I remember was like he was awake and then they did something and then he was just like and they just like
Spocked him.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
those
and they just like
Vulcans,
did something that made him immediately lose consciousness.
Magic.
Yeah. And then we were stuck deciding whether we wanted to just immediately follow them where they were taking Kamter or if we wanted to continue to try to loot the bazaar.
I totally didn't just spill soda all over my face. Good thing there's no camera. No one can see that.
I saw that
I
not happen.
I think we did end up deciding to follow them because we felt like they were going to get away from us if we tried to
Yeah.
I think that was
We
going to be the
were-
main thing, but I think I want to have, since she's back, have a full group decision.
Was she just
She was just there the whole time.
She was on /follow, so
Yeah.
she was just on autopilot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were heading out towards the bazaar, and like we were discussing if we should follow him or like loot the caravans and then follow,
Or bring
if we
the-
have time for that,
Or bring the encampment up, or bring the stuff to the encampment.
or head back to the camp. With
Yeah,
Oh.
because we weren't sure. We had discussed what is this time change, like actual like literal
right.
like age change of like the surroundings mean about the camp. So we don't know if that means like does that mean if we go back to camp there's gonna be people missing, or there's gonna be like it's gonna be a different time of the year, or like or is people still gonna be there? So we don't know that, and we hadn't decided of when we were gonna head back.
Yeah, because that was going to be like the way that we determined if we went back to camp, we could resupply, figure everything out, and if things had changed, that would give us a better idea of what was actually going on. But
Yeah, because like there was ruins at the base camp, and so we would figure like, well, if those had changed, then something else had changed as well.
it's been like
Yeah.
a full time thing instead of just some sort of I don't know
Yeah,
other
but
magic.
the caravans that were there, they looked newish.
They were definitely not there before we went under the obelisk.
Okay.
And
But there was an etching of a caravan around the perimeter of the clearing.
So kind of,
beforehand, yeah, like
yeah.
on the ground.
so kind of picture like a large central like trading hub that is just has a bunch of carts, and you're expecting a lot of people. Kind of think of the scene from Aladdin with all the bazaar carts and stuff like that. But think of those laid out, just kind of scattered, and shops and stuff are ready to go. But there's no mounts, no kind of like oxen or anything to pull them in. But the carts are all still there, and
No living creatures of any kind
Yeah.
that we've seen.
Except for the stone.
The golems and the sentinels.
And I don't know if we also mentioned, but like the obelisk is
Yeah, it's like
spinning
floating. It's floating and
or
rotating.
something.
yeah. So when you guys kind of saw it from afar away, it was like kind of like in a socketed position. It was just kind of like an inert thing. But when he put his like giant emerald into it. It kind of spun up, and then there's this like it's magically kind of floating, and it's also like giving announcements in several languages. Like you can kind of tell like Draconic from what you've heard from the Sentinels and like the Golems, but it's also going in Dwarven, it's going in Goblin, it's going in English, it's going in
Common.
Common.
It's like we restarted like the market, but there's certain things that lead us to believe that there could be time involved, but in a weird way, maybe.
So yeah, it's up to you guys. You can either do it in character or out of character. What is your next plan? Because depending on what you guys do, I will have to improv this entire session.
Yeah.
And I have notes for one or two, but this is a prime example of like what you guys do will decide how the campaign goes. It's not just me forcing you through this storyline. Now you guys have options, and so what you can do will affect how things go, for good or for ill.
I think I might roll on this one. I'm going to go 1 to 10 for Campter and 10 to 20 for back to base.
Do you like flip a coin?
I'm just gonna.
For
for
following Campter, is it just so we can get Campter back?
So we can know what they're doing with it.
Or
They're just
where they're
taking them
going.
away. We have
Okay.
no idea where they're going.
Can't leave our healer.
Yeah. Oh, we've kind of got one here.
Ish.
I have one.
What? Did we notice what direction they were heading in? Were they heading in what looked like towards another obelisk?
So if we kind of go back to, let me see if I can find a picture of that map, because it was all on the iPad that was taken from me.
No,
They
I
took
forgot about
it?
that too.
I'm supposed to give it back, but
They-
it's factory reset sitting on my couch, just off.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to see if they send me an envelope or something.
That sucks because.
But
Other people got
every
theirs.
other round of layoffs, they've let people keep all the devices.
Yeah.
I asked to buy it, and they said no. So if you're looking at the map, it from like a landscape setting, west is kind of where the encampment is. You guys headed east towards the obelisk. They are heading further east into the kind of jungle.
Further than like anybody's ever traveled. On
Yeah,
the
they're
island.
heading like you can kind of see where more obelisks and stuff are, kind of based on that like giant mile-long clearing. It's kind of like a pattern with all these obelisks. So they're kind of not campaigning, but they're patrolling through, and they're kind of carrying what looks like onto the opposite side of the island, where not many people have come from.
I mean, do you think they're going to give us any more trouble if we try and follow them? I mean, we did tell them that we were with Tarkee or
Razden.
Razden.
Although, didn't we try that last time? And we were like, "Oh, we're not with him anymore, though, because this is we didn't know." We didn't know.
Gamble and said we were with Razden.
Yeah,
and
because this is like in a situation we don't know for sure if Razden, because we know from
Yeah.
Razden telling us that he betrayed Tarkees, and we didn't know if that meant like, is this pre or
Quit,
post?
quit saying Turkey. I think it's Tarkees,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I had no idea what you guys were talking about and got us in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the man on the earring phone?
Right.
Yeah, I was like, we were with Razden. You're like, I am Grur.
Is anybody
Just ask me who I was.
Is anybody significantly damaged at all?
I'm at half health.
I'm like 2/3 full.
I'm not bad.
I'm not bad.
I'm
not bad, just drawn this way.
On a scale of 1 to 30, I'm about a 16.
That's not great.
Very accurate
You
scale.
have not had a rest since you ran into the mayor in the jungle,
Yeah.
so it's been a little while.
It's been a while.
Wow, I was waiting for him to do it.
I don't know. This might be our only. I mean, like, how else are we? We just like wander.
I mean, I feel like if we do anything other than follow them, we're likely going to lose Campter, as far as like lose sight of where they take him.
Yeah, it's so interesting. We could like learn we could see where they're taking him, which is pretty important, or we can see what this whole mumbo jumbo with the crystal, like and potentially get a rest.
What did the golem tell us? Did he tell us to stay put? Or
I can't remember the words he put, but I think he kind of was like, "Go back to your master and let him know that we've like impounded
Okay.
one of his servants." Is essentially what I was trying to get across. Is like, you know.
Also, I can't remember her name, but she could be pretty important because
Marcilla?
Yeah. That's why. Yeah, that's another reason I was
That's why
thinking
I'm like
of
50-50
going back.
on my
Yeah, another reason I was thinking of going back to the camp, because if Marcilla's there,
Yes.
or if she, like I don't remember asking anybody in town because Marcilla had apparently been there the whole time.
Yeah.
Even though she looks like a kid.
She was the first.
So, does anybody know if she's actually a kid? Has she been there the whole time? And how, I honestly more curious about going back to camp than sticking around with Camter.
I kind of agree, because there was something that you saw, and I don't know if it was the golems, but it was said, you asked if it resembled the clockwork things that she had, and he said yes.
Yeah, there was if the golems represent... or no, not the golems.
Yeah.
Was the golem?
I thought.
I asked. Yeah.
In construction.
Yeah.
You did you did an Arcana check, and it was the same School of Magic.
I forgot to send you stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Oh yeah, because of your background. Yeah, one thing I offered is if you want to build more backstory and more world building, villages you grew up in, or in his case the school of wizardry and stuff he came from. Please definitely put it in. It's when I was living in this area, and I can get you a full map of what the continents and the city states and stuff like that are. But only the Davenborrow is really kind of fleshed out. So if you want to come from somewhere else, just let me know and we'll get that figured out. So.
Okay,
I wrote
might
that
send you some stuff.
No, I guess I didn't write.
In
I
any
wouldn't
case,
have
Camter is being held as collateral, which means he's not being outright killed.
Right.
He's not being outright
was
killed.
He's
was
probably
he
safe
was he
for
collateral?
now.
Yeah,
That's-
they said that they were going to take him as collateral.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that, and he just said the.
Word for word.
They
He did
they were
say that.
implying that they were basically taking him hostage because of who our master was, or Razden.
Except for Grur.
Except for Grur, but they made us choose. So
Then what do we even come back? How do we even convince them about?
exactly, yeah. I don't think there's much a point of following at this point because unless we do something to change their mind, they're still going to hold on to
Unless we
Camper.
can
Yeah.
take the golem on.
Yeah,
Right,
multiple
or just
golems.
mark
A
the
lot of
spot on the map
golems.
to come back to later and find him
Yeah.
again.
I mean,
and
well,
feel
at least
free.
There's a
there
big
in no
old
direction.
obelisk. I think we'll be able to find the obelisk again.
Yeah.
For a brief moment, you were able to talk to Razden. What if we were able to somehow reactivate that and through the
That's like
stone have them?
it's like a once a day thing, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, the earring. Well,
What are you
I
talking?
used the
what,
earring
What,
at
what
one
are
point.
days?
I used the
What
earring at
time
one
is
point, and I think that I hadn't taken an extended rest before, so I think as a mechanic that Dusty has put in, Razden can just call me whenever because he called me on it. I don't think I can call Razden whenever, and I wouldn't know how to even do that.
You could try, just kind of. flick
Just
your
I
arm.
can just
Spinning,
flicker,
like-
just,
Eventually it'll work.
just fidget with my earring a little bit. But I mean, yeah, I think
Think longingly of Razden and flick your ear.
Remember all the good times we had.
all the good
He tried to eat me. I don't
That
think
was
that
fun.
Him in
right?
that bar. Oh.
Smell of food.
Yeah, and I don't think there'd be and, maybe you could do some sort of an Arcana check on my earring to see if you could find some way to activate it. But I don't think on my own would be able to.
When did he get the earring?
He gave you
Rest
the earring in the
too.
inn. That's where you guys got your magical
Before he
stuff.
sent us over to Ryland Orchard.
Was that your magical item that you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you got the flask.
I got.
Or what
I
was
think
it?
I actually wrote it down this time. Maybe not. It was something of alchemical crafting. I can do
mean,
Yeah, you got a
find
ring. I
it.
think you got a
it's like
ring.
I could do one extra potion a day or
'Cause
something.
Yeah, you can
Alex got the coin.
I got the coin.
She got the armband. You got the earring. And then Ronald got the tuning fork.
Who?
Ronald. Oh, yeah. Never forget.
I bought a whole new notebook that's actually like that, and I need to
Oh, yeah.
start taking notes on that because this thing is falling apart. It's like 4 years old. How long have we been doing this?
Golly.
Eventually I'll take
two
a note.
campaigns in there, it sounds like.
I do.
It's not.
So eventually I'll
this,
take a note.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
single
with
note.
with this guy's note taking, it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
Right.
yeah, you got like easy
I am
mode.
Guru.
Yeah.
D20 additional potion crafting once a day. I don't know what it's called, but that's what
Yours is the Ring of Mixmaster,
Mixmaster.
Mess with
The
flesh.
Mixmaster.
and I have an idea for yours, but I don't know of a good way to like bring it to you. I think I told you last time, like, party was tempted just to have like a parachuted
Yeah.
present in.
Oh right, yeah.
Like a
Like Hunger Games.
Yeah.
or,
Wait a second.
3 fingers up in the air and just like, you have received a gift from an unknown donor. Razden. Hello.
It's just like, falling in.
You have
Would you
received
like-
an item from Razden.
Would you accept the terms? No. Shoots back at
Would you like to accept this gift from Razden, baby?
Good, baby, good. So we'll put it to a vote. I think this will be the best way to kind of do it. All in favor of going back to camp, raise your hand.
Cameron is raising his hand.
Eileen is raising her hand. Wayne is raising his hand.
I'm Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer raised his hand.
Thank you.
Muncho raised his hand. And Grizz raised her hand.
So that's 6 people.
No, God. All right. And who wants to follow? All right.
Good.
Well,
2
what's
shoots.
going to happen
The
in
other
character?
All right.
That was
Is
that
this
was
the bad,
grrr.
is this the worst
Even
outcome for you?
Even if we did
you,
that
Dusty?
in character.
Oh
it's
no, I'd be like, I will follow the group, but I will.
Right.
Let's just agree not to leave him for too
Yeah.
long. We don't know how long.
It's like
we don't
we're-
know what sort of
Yes.
camp it's like. How long?
Yeah, we can make like a loop back to camp, right, and then like just assess the situation and then go back because we know, like relative to where the obelisk is, we know where the golems are taking
Yes.
Camter.
Yeah,
Exactly.
further into the forest.
We don't even know what that trek would be like, so it'd be taking more risk to potentially try to follow
Because
him.
we have no idea how far they're going, and we know
Or-
about how long it'll take to get back to the base camp,
Yeah.
and
It's
even back to the
Ruins?
place where we met the mayor, the ruins where we met the mayor.
Nothing else. We can gather some resources, heal
Yeah.
up, and then head out.
And who knows? Maybe the ruins where we met the mayor won't be ruins anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's so much more to
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah,
that
like
way.
there's so much more that we know is very likely going to be changed somehow if we go backwards
Yeah.
instead of going out into the unknown.
Yes, exactly. Because it could have changed, but we would have never known because we never saw it initially.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, then in that case, let's make a perimeter sweep and grab everything out of these that we can.
Yes.
Yeah, might as well loot the bazaar since we're not chasing
Yeah.
after
Grab
Camper
some
immediately.
supplies real fast.
We'll come back for you, Captain.
As
right
as we're looting and stuffing into our bags.
So I'll
Come back
figure
to
out
the
what
beer.
all is. I'll get an itemized list of what each cart has when time permits. You will all be able to have that stuff. There's going to be
Maybe
weapons.
We'll find a magic item.
Yeah, we'll talk about
We
that.
kind of like just take one of the carts, load it up, and just kind of like.
You got
Like the trash creature from Labyrinth, right? Just like a huge
except
pile of
it's
bits.
Grur, and he's just like
Yeah.
chugging along with this giant cart.
Yeah.
It's the magical soap on a rope. It makes you smell better. Magic. No, so you guys start heading down the brand new cobbled pathway heading back towards the cave's entrance, which is odd considering that why would there be this pathway heading directly towards the encampment and the cave that you originally emerged from. As you're walking, you come across several patrols of 4 golems. Again, they are the kind of the more offensive golems that kind of more got like a beefier one arm and then like kind of a shield almost on the other, kind of like a small little buckler. And they're patrolling. They don't mind you anything. They don't ask you for identification. They are just working their way through. And they're kind of clearing the path, and they're following like a preset pattern, like programmed into their magical essence and all that stuff. And as they're working through, they're kind of clearing a path for you, and they've made it easier for you to get from the monolith to base camp. Once you make it to base camp, you hear a lot of commotion.
Right, so is this the base camp where
This is
everybody
where-
else was, or
yes.
is this the ruins?
This is the base camp. So base camp
Okay.
in reference to where the residents of Ryland Orchard is, as well as Marcilla, Manny, and so the rest of the group there.
Does the path not take? Does the path not take us past the ruins?
Not that you've seen. You've kind of just been going back.
Just following the cobblestone path. Okay.
Yeah. No traps, which is good.
Good.
So, but yeah, they're clearing trees. Like they're just breaking down trees, moving them out of the way, and then just kind of building this path. And they're just kind of patrolling back and forth.
You're just gonna take that? You're gonna let them do that?
Building the path.
No, just breaking trees.
I think they're the ones who took
That's a solid
offense
point.
more to the breaking of trees than Greer did.
Well, what's the commotion?
Perception.
Perceive!
I can see everything.
I can see nothing.
18.
You hear the sound of a lot more kind of like. It sounds like construction, but a lot of raised voices, a lot of concern, a lot of kind of shouting from multiple voices. You hear the magnificent tone of someone asking for money, and you also have just kind of like, just not the normal kind of atmosphere here, and a lot more residential construction. So, hammering, sawing, that kind of stuff. Once you kind of go over the rise and find like the outpost and the tower and stuff like that, you see that you have a lot of the Ryland Orchard residents and a lot of the civilians who aren't combat ready kind of like in one side of the base camp, kind of like keeping their distance. You have the armed militia, you have some of the major figures you've met in the past. They're kind of like watching as these golems, worker golems, are rebuilding sections of the base camp, like the tower and kind of some of the foundation stuff where you guys have built upon. They're moving and reconstructing. They're rebuilding this like little settlement you guys have taken over as your own. And you hear shouting from Manny, who's like yelling at these guys because they're not zoned for it. You've got just people like watching as their stuff is getting like kind of thrown out of the way and moved, and like clotheslines are getting torn down by these golems, and no one knows what they're coming from, who they are. They don't want to mess with them. And then you have Marcella, who's standing on top of one of them that looks like it's laying down on the side, and she's kind of got its like head in her hands, and she's kind of like just fiddling. She's kind of like crouched over Spider-Man-esque, like on its chest, and she's kind of like doing her thing. Well, everybody else is kind of like freaked out, and so she's kind of like in the middle of town.
Do they look to be the same age as they were when we left?
Yeah, everybody seems to be okay.
I mean, technically, I don't think they aged since they've been here.
That's true.
Well, at least we don't know if Marcella has, but
Yeah.
I guess we don't know if any of the. Did we ever touch on that with Campter or anybody else? If
Well,
they
He said he's been here a while, and he's kind of, wear and tear of life.
That's true.
Uh,
That's true.
So
I just like approach the nearest person and say, "Do you remember us?"
yeah, you're the people that helped out when that giant tree folk guy came by. Like, you guys been gone for a little while now, like about a cycle or two. What's going on? Like, what is with the golems? Did you guys bring them here? Are they here to help us? What's going on? They're destroying our shacks and settlement stuff.
Did you guys see it turn? Is that?
Right. me.
Did you guys see it turn like nighttime at all?
Yeah, we did. It was really odd, and then we started hearing like voices coming from like where you guys went. Like, we don't know what did you do? Did you do something at the monolith? Did you make like the island mad? Did you sacrifice someone? Where's Campter? Did you kill Campter and sacrifice him to a volcano god?
Technically no. He sacrificed himself, but not to a volcano god.
You hear weeping and just crying because he's beloved and everybody loves him, and then you hear Manny go, "It's about time. I hated that guy. He always stopped me from doing what I need to do."
Fuck you, Manny.
Fuck you.
He's not dead as far as we know.
He was very much alive, just passed out when we left him. He was taken by some of these sentry golems.
Orin walks up with Drea and goes, "If he is no longer to serve the people, I and the Church of the Perpetual Sun will take the storage unit and all goods inside of it."
No, fuck off. He let us. He
Yep.
left those to us.
Yep. As he was getting
With his dying breath, he left those to us.
Yep.
with his last conscious breath before he was taken away by the sentry
Yeah,
golems.
there was
He
no
left
time
that to
for
us.
like a written will and testament, but yeah.
Do a deception on me.
Shit.
15.
He looks at you and he's like, "Since it's only your voice compared to ours, I think that will be..."
I think it have to be all of us, all of our voices.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's not dead, sir.
Yeah, so says Gross. So says he's one of you guys.
No, he is not with us. He's with another church that respects life and order. We are Death and Profit. Now, since you
I give him some, dangle like a little bag of cash.
Yeah, that is a nice small sack of change, but we are talking about better profits here. And then as
I pull out my sword. Just while talking to him, not in a
Okay.
not in like pointing at a manner, but I'm just like, Well, you know what? I mean, Camter, like, was going with us on this expedition, and I don't think he would really take it too kindly if as soon as he got back and found out, like, oh, I gotta go help out with these golems and I'll be right back. And that he comes back and his whole town, his whole forge is just taken over. I feel like he'd be pretty mad about that.
Well, you gotta keep in mind that someone has to keep order around here. Now that I can charge for the goods and services of what's inside of the storage.
There'll be no goods and services. There'll be nothing left to purchase said goods and services with if you're taking literally all of the money. That's not how economics works, dumbass.
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't think you understand what I was saying. He's not dead. I want to do an intimidation check. So.
Okay.
Just like, he's not dead.
16, 21.
All right. So what do you kind of like? What kind of posture do you take when you tell him that's
Like in his face, big posture, standing over Muncho, like, as he was saying.
As the small one was saying.
so?
He's not dead. His things are still there. We're going to go get him.
All right. Dre kind of is like already kind of like taking out her like foldable bow staff. She's like, all right, folding it back up, and she just kind of picks up Oren, and she's just like, you win this one. And he's like, but I have something. She's like, no, they won. They won. And then a bunch of the crowd just kind of is like, thank you. He's been trying to take over this thing ever since you guys left. It's been madness. Manny's been kind of trying to like revolt us. We don't know what's going on. And then these golems come in, and like we don't know what to do. But Marcella, she jumped on top of one of them, and now she's like fiddling around. We haven't been able to talk to her in a while. She's been out for like 2 hours. She's got like blue glowing like all around her. Like we tried to touch her, we got shocked. It's weird. Like we tried to like pull her out, and we can't get it to her. We can't get to her.
Walk over to her. She's out in the middle of town on top of one right now.
Yeah. So she's kind of take that posture. Her hands are kind of on the side of these like bulky golem's head, and you can kind of see her eyes are like a shade bluer, and like every now and again you will kind of see like these like magically kind of like blue sparks, the same that you saw coming from her little like butterfly and her little squirrel, the same kind of like weird magic that she was using to kind of animate stuff.
Does she look like she, for lack of a better comparison, like a Battlestar style, she's actually a golem kind of thing, or?
No, she's definitely fleshy, like.
She looks mostly the same besides the glow.
Yeah, she's just kind of. It looks like she's, like, I don't know, in her own. Do an Arcana check for me, please.
Thank you.
Is the golem moving that she's on?
No, it's.
Okay.
Do any of the other golems seem to take notice of her tinkering with this golem?
No, they're just kind of like. It's almost like they've noticed that this area is run down. They're doing their maintenance thing. They're like, oh, we haven't been here in a while, and let's just kind of beep, boop, beep, boop, boop. Let's fix things. 24. You notice that this she's using a lot of mental magic and kind of she's spell weaving essentially. You can feel that like magic is being altered around the golem and stuff, and she's kind of like directly connected to it, almost like she's in a very heavy kind of channeling. It's very verbal. She's muttering to herself, not much semantic, but she is kind of like when you're like fiddling with a Rubik's cube, almost on each side of the golem's head. And as you're kind of looking, Chops, the blacksmith, walks up and he's like, "We've been trying to get to her for about an hour and a half. We tried. I got shocked. Someone got sent away," and he kind of like points to the tower, and you see like a burnt outline of a human. He's like, he's fine, but he was just charged, like he static cling. He was stuck to the wall. We don't know what's going on with her. We've never seen this happen.
I pick up a pebble and I toss it at her.
So when you throw it, it kind of like gets close to her, but then you kind of see the static kind of meet the stone in the middle, and then it just redirects it. Just kind of like
like a magnetic field.
Start
or something.
approaching her, just slowly. I don't know how close I can get.
So as you're walking closer, you kind of feel like, when you've been in a room that with really staticky carpet, and as you're walking with your side, and you can kind of just feel like the charge building up. you kind of get that, but it's just magical energy, and you're walking up, and finally you get close to her, and you just feel the hairs on your arms and your head, your hair's standing up a bit, some of your metal's kind of like shaking on your thing, your spellbook clasp and stuff.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell there's some good magical energies here, but you can
Good magical.
that's some good magic mana.
Marcella, can you hear me?
She's just kind of mumbling. She's like, no. Yes.
No.
And then she like smacks it like.
Yes, and then smacks it.
You're
saying, Dusty?
Pulls out a cigarette. Alright. No, she's very excited.
It's like slowly
Is
turning.
she?
I'm not sure what I just witnessed.
No, so she's kind of fiddling with it, and then she's like kind of like box smacks both like sides of the head, and then you see the eyes open up on the golem, and then they're also showing those bright blue, which is something new for the golems, as they all just had like the normal stone eyes. And then she kind of like jumps off, and the golem kind of stands up, looks around, and then just starts kind of like walking towards another golem and putting its hand on its, like another golem's shoulder, puts its hand on it, and then that blue staticky energy is just kind of flowing through this golem. And they both kind of stop for a little bit. And then the golem the second golem, blue eyes, kind of looks around, and they both just kind of do their thing and start walking and start kind of like converting like these golems to each other, and she's just like, I figured it out.
Should we be letting this happen?
And she like looks, she's like, oh my god, you guys are back. Oh, how long was I gone? Just a couple of minutes, right? Like, and then Chop's like, no, you've been out of it for like an hour and a half. Like, what happened?
Did you just make like a golem virus?
Kind of. It's like the little squirrel I made. You know how I can kind of like, it's just on a bigger scale. It's the same stuff I've been working on, but like on a bigger scale. Same magical principles with all of the equations and the principles and the programming and everything like that. You see, it just, and she kind of like goes into like this like magical programming tyrant. Like, you understand what she's talking about, like the theory and like using magical like commands.
Do
And
I know what
My
school
eyes
of magic
glaze over.
she's basically working
Yeah.
with? Is it just like...
It's the same kind of like the same magic as like creating a golem, but it's like she went in essentially and reprogrammed the golem magically to work with her and power her off herself, opposed to whatever like communal magic source that the golems were originally built off of.
So do you have control over that thing?
I do, and the most interesting thing is because they all power off the same magic source, if one golem touches another one, it becomes a part of the chain, and I can control it. It's brilliant, but I only can do it within a small radius. I only can control about like 20 or 30, so anything in the camp, I can control, and we can use it to build up the camp, build defenses, get everything we want. And I'm sorry, I got excited. This is like all new to me. I've never experienced something this fun before. How did it go? What was at the obelisk?
Well, we may need to use those golems. Kempter has been taken by some more of the golems.
Oh.
If you could spare a few of these golems as they start taking over each other, I guess just watching them just be like...
And she's gonna need to go with us.
She would need to go with us.
And she would have to take any that she had, essentially, because he said a radius.
Yeah, I have to be close by because I'm essentially the power source. But
How are you? How are you going with that? Yeah, how are you feeling like physically? Is it draining?
it feels good. It feels alright. I'm doing okay. I'm a little hungry, but I think we're doing good.
You should ask her if she's like studied the school, like, or what.
As far as I recall, she said it was all intuitive. She just kind of knew it.
Natural. Right.
Kind of like how a sorcerer kind of just stumbles upon their magic. It's the best way.
I study. Others are just naturally talented, and I'm not bitter.
Not salty about it at all.
Well, they don't get the same like forte as you do.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Still,
Sorry, how many golems are in the camp?
I would say like
Less than 20.
there was a squad of 12 that came up through here.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're kind of finally stopping what they're doing. They're kind of like lining up where the bonfires, and they're kind of like going back to their 3 ranks of 3. Or 4 ranks of 3. That's how math works.
I mean, should we?
Hold on a sec, Marcella. What have we found out? I mean, obviously people are safe here. They still know who we are.
Did you guys make the time move?
We did.
Oh, okay.
Unintentional.
Indirectly.
Yeah.
Pfeiffer had an emerald and we put it in an obelisk.
Still mad about that emerald.
Oh, the obelisks do something. I should have gone over there and looked sooner. I just thought they were really boring. They didn't look like they did anything. They were just on pedestals and...
You didn't find the secret chamber underneath?
There was a secret chamber?
Come on, science girl!
And it spun, and there was
Wait a minute.
a marketplace.
Market. Some of the townsfolk are like, marketplace? What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's a bunch of cool free supplies back over at near the obelisk now. There's an abandoned bazaar over there.
Yeah, but none of this stuff. Don't look over here. This is not.
Oh yeah, we called dibs because we found it first. But by all means, if you guys need to restock camp, there's a whole abandoned bazaar over by the base of the obelisk now. It might be.
Yeah. Don't want them to just rush over there with their.
Oh yeah, maybe. I mean, not everybody leave camp all at once. No, not at all.
Granted, those the golems didn't. Did they ask any of you for identification or?
No, these ones are all just. They look like they're some sort of worker bots. They've got tools for hands, and they just kind of came up and just started working on repairing some of the older buildings and structures, but at the same time tearing down some of what we've set up. They took down part of the tower, kind of scaffolding that we put up to kind of keep it stable, and they just repatched it up with new stone. They just pulled it out of the ground, reshaped it, and put it back in. They're repairing sections of this little city that we took over.
I wouldn't tell anybody to go check it out, honestly.
I'm hesitant to have, another Campter collateral.
Yes, they might all be collateral.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why don't I come with you, bring the golems, and we use the golems to bring the wagons here, and we break down the wagons and
Hell
use it for
yeah.
resources.
There was also
Sounds
an
like a
entire
good idea.
army of golems underneath the obelisk that maybe you could activate.
But she said she's got a limit. But she could probably grab some more.
Yeah.
But if you said there's a magical crystal powering the obelisk,
We couldn't get it out of the obelisk, though.
but
Still pissed about
I think
that.
it'd be worth having Marcilla take a look at it.
Oh, no, yeah. We should definitely take Marcelo over to the
Yeah,
obelisk.
I think that's probably the best.
I'm
next
worried
step.
about how you're controlling these as far as power. I don't want you to put yourself out or damage yourself in some form.
Or run out of energy and have 12.
Have 12 golems all of a sudden just being like, wow, what are we doing? Well, they're the tool golems, so I don't think we have to be too worried about them. But
there's other
tools, man.
types.
yeah, there's big golems. They got a big hand and a little
sentries,
hand, and they squish them.
Yeah.
And it's, there's some really dangerous looking golems out there.
I could have taken over one of the sentries with this magic. Oh my god.
I mean, we still
You could
can.
probably trade them out, right?
Yeah.
You seem to be pretty good with this source of magic.
Well,
As a fellow magic user.
she's like, I can, but I don't know if that's gonna be any fun. But
How much control do you have of them?
so she kind of what do you want him to do? I can make him do anything.
Can you make them explode?
Whoa!
Wow.
We'll start with dance.
So you see one of the golems shaking in the corner and then kind of stop. She's like, all right, and then it just kind of. Does a small little jig with its stout body. Yeah, just kind of rocking and just kind of doing this whole thing, and people it's awkwardly
There's
clapping.
one playing spoons with his fingers.
Can you make them grow plant trees?
Like a washboard.
I can. That seems kind of really dumb,
I
but
don't think so.
they're my golems now. You go get your own golems.
Teach us the ways.
Yeah. I'm not sure I can do that, but
Then don't ask for stupid requests. Dancing and exploding is fine. Planting trees is not.
Well, would you at least want to go check out the obelisk?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm gonna totally go over there. If there's more golems to study, I'm totally down for it. Plus, if we can get some supplies here, I can, have them work on that, and we can go experiment, and they won't bug me for a little while. It's totally fine.
Shall we?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Do we want to rest? Do we need
I mean, I think we should. If we're here, and there's no urgency.
except for Campter.
Also, we don't want Orin to fucking take over the storehouses while we're gone.
Wasn't there? Well, there's the blacksmith, and then camped there, and then wasn't there one more dude?
I mean, if we come back with a bunch of golems, we
the-
can slap them around.
What's his name?
There's Chops the blacksmith.
Fucking narc.
There's Orn,
Manny.
who's the man of the church. Manny is the tax collector.
Yeah, tax collector. That was it.
Oh yeah, I guess that was really it.
Orn of the church, his bodyguard, Drea.
Yeah.
Or most of the camp people at the store.
They're kind of like off to the side, kind of near where the edge of town is. They're kind of like waiting over there as these golems were kind of taking apart the town.
Okay.
Could we?
I mean, if we need to rest, we need to. I don't want to go into the heart of whatever golem city dragon thing we're looking at, but without really being prepared. But
yeah, we should probably take a. Hey, Marcella, do you think we could rest here a bit?
Well,
Our first journey out to the obelisk, kind of banged us up.
true, and hopefully you didn't fall into any pits or anything.
No,
Not
no.
at all.
If there were, we all jumped it with ease.
Did you see the mayor by chance? Some people are asking if we should bring him back. Is he doing okay?
He's running a town out
He's
there.
alive.
Yeah.
He's got like town meetings and.
yeah, we haven't seen him since we activated the obelisk.
Oh.
Yeah.
But none of the other people have changed.
Yeah.
You see her kind of like innocently like, oh, he's finally picking up and people are able to help. Oh, that's so sweet. Like, she's thinking the best of the situation.
Worst case scenario, the town's like getting
Yeah,
rebuilt.
to have,
So
I
Yeah.
suppose.
Well,
Is
yeah,
there-
we can rest up.
there-
I'm gonna probably need a little bit of time. I'm feeling a little lightheaded myself, but so we can supply up, get ready for an expedition, go back to the obelisk, and get those wagons and kind of look around and go from there. If things go well, we can actually move the base camp to the obelisk. It's a little bit easier to fortify now that you know.
I mean, there's still a lot of golems over there,
Yeah.
and the golems took Camter last time we were there, so I
Let's
don't
see
know
how
if
you
it's
interact with the golems.
Yeah,
first.
I think that if it wouldn't, I don't know, when we go back, I think we should prioritize Campter over the carts. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just me.
Also, let's just wait to see how the golems react to you being there.
Do you think they're taking him where they took the other people?
What other people?
What other people?
Oh, when they just like came in and took people?
I mean,
Maybe.
well, there was. I mean,
the
there,
gargoyles and the golems, the one like the medium-sized and the large-sized. Because
I mean,
these
this
look like
is very possible.
if you're talking about the people that got taken by the mosquitoes,
no, we all know. We found one of their bodies. They look like a shrunken Capri Sun.
Fantasy Capri Sun.
Fantasy Capri Sun.
Liquid Slam.
Feel the breeze.
Capri. It's a Capri Sun, like a moleskin. Water skin.
Yeah.
It's a Capri Sun skin.
or like some sort of like.
Orange slices in Capri Sun after a hard day of dungeoneering.
It's still a pain in the ass to get that stuff on.
Yeah.
I got like fermented Capri Sun one time. It was almost like alcohol. Almost. It's
Oh no.
What?
Annie had one of those in
That
Catholic
sounds-
school, and she
Wait.
was just like, "My juice tastes funny," and she gave it to her teacher. She's like, "This is mine now."
we,
I didn't realize that was a thing that happened.
yeah, we had a whole case of them, and they're like,
They
"Sorry
like,
about that."
really inflate when
Yeah.
they get old.
Because it literally just ferments.
Yep.
Wow.
But the expiration date wasn't over. They're like, "Oopsie doodle, here's coupons for more Capri Sun."
Oh man.
Heyo. Wow.
You know, there's real fruit in there.
Need Capri Sun.
I mean,
Oh, it's
you
just
real
the
fruit
sugar
if there's
mostly.
Sugar,
Yeah.
It could be so completely artificial. You know?
Get liquid slammed. Stole your joke. Jesus Christ. You're having this whole conversation. Chop's kind of is like, did you guys find any metal supplies, by the way? Because my forge is ready to go. I can start upgrading some weapons, and we can kind of get you geared out, repair your gear, and we can kind of work on all that stuff.
Did you find
That's your call if we found anything quickly.
I could have
Yeah.
sworn that we did.
We found that crate with the mare.
Yeah,
with a bunch of
blacksmithing
scrap.
tool,
Bunch of
and then
right.
there was a blacksmithing cart as well.
Oh,
we
we didn't,
left
we
that
didn't
there.
grab that.
Yeah,
'cause
we didn't really
were
grab
like,
it,
we'll come
'cause
back
it's
to
not
this
too far away.
when
That
it's
was a
ready.
big thing.
Yeah.
But if it's not too far away and it's in that town, that means that we're gonna go back to that town and see if it's still in ruins.
You can.
Yeah.
We can do that really quick.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah.
Uh,
Let's.
Let's do that really quickly.
Get the
Yeah.
supplies, because that was like an hour and a half. So you're gonna take like a golem with you.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's within the radius
So-
that she can maintain.
Right, yeah. Yeah, what is the radius you can maintain? Do you know?
Let's send
find
one out and find out.
I guess worst case, this one tries to rebuild the town again. So
Yeah, we could just like somebody could follow the golem while she stays there and just kind of like see how long it lasts.
Yeah, so it follows you all the way to the camp of. It even helps you over the spikes. You know, you kind of get around it, punches through the like vines, so you kind of like make a little route around it, so you don't have to worry about the spike trap anymore. And then you kind of just make it to like half hour out towards that settlement.
Okay.
I'm curious. I don't like DM interpret this how you will, but I want to watch Marcilla as far as like health, as far as how much like this arcane control is taking a toll on her, where the source is coming from, and if I start to see her affected, or if she's fatigued or destroyed, or if it's somewhere else maybe, or if I even would know.
Do a medicine check for me if that's still a
Yeah,
medicine.
Oh, that's a 5.
You already kind of pick up that she's a little dizzy from spending so much time channeling, and that's kind of a side effect for long kind of straining magical cantrips and stuff. Other than that, her demeanor seems fine. You don't know her personality type very well. She's very shy and she's very kind of quirky, so you can't tell if anything has changed on that, because she'll kind of go on her weird little like tangents, or her priority on things seems a little bit different, but that's always kind of how it's been.
Can I double check that I have a specialty in medicine?
Yeah.
I want to like go out there and like just give her like a light.
Do you have an
tap.
idea of what this could have been like health-wise?
Oh!
Oh!
24.
All right. So you kind of notice that her eyes are a little bit more bloodshot. The color in her eyes seems a little bit brighter. She's favoring her right side a bit more, which is kind of odd. She's not really... Before she kind of had her posture, but now she's kind of always like... kind of favoring her right side and kind of using her left hand more, and keeping this side kind of from much activity. When she walks, she kind of limps now.
Do I notice any of these effects slightly advancing over time?
The time you spend with her, and because she's still kind of actively going from place to place, checking on people, kind of doing her rounds and stuff. From what your active views are, she's slightly suspicious. Like she's stopped. She doesn't really make contact with other people anymore. She used to be a little bit more touchy feely and kind of like, but now she's kind of keeping back a bit.
Okay.
So keep an eye on her.
Yeah.
I do want to ask. So
I share that with everybody. Just beware.
Just going around whispering. Because the golem was like on the ground, right, when she was on top. Like, how did you get it on the ground? How did you topple it?
That's a good question.
I jumped on its back and then put my hands to its head. Like I just kind of
course.
figured. I panicked.
I'm like you're flipping.
Well, no, I was like on the roof repairing something, and it was kind of coming towards me, so I just kind of screamed and just ah! And then when I did, I made like this like connection with it, and I felt that this was like the right thing to do. So,
Very brave of you.
Thank you. And she kind of like stiffens up. She's kind of like, yay. So at this time, we're gonna jump ahead to that encampment. Who all's gonna go back to the mayor's station?
I mean, we're not dying, but we can do this for now.
I'm actually going to stay behind and
Keep an eye on her.
keep an eye on her, and also I need to spend some time like just getting my things together, getting my alchemical items like kind of set up. I've got a lot to kind of like, and I kind of figure you guys kind of have this.
Oh yeah, Marcel's not going with us.
To the
No, she's testing to see how far she can kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's staying back.
I'll probably also hang back just because I'm interested to see like what happens to her.
Cool.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm kind of. I'm just like slitting. How you doing? She like,
Checking your pulse every once in a while.
It's like, how are you doing?
So, is this a joke, or is this something you're actually going to try to do?
I would like to kind of like very cautiously, just kind of like slowly like grab her hand every once in a while, like as like a friendly thing, while like secretly checking her vitals and things like that.
Every time you try to make any sort of physical contact with her,
that's how
either
you
like
do.
medical or just kind of like a reassuring touch or anything romantic, I don't know how you're going to handle the situation as a character, but every time you try to like, make physical contact, she'll kind of like turn so you kind of make contact with the left side of her body. She kind of like it's very subtle, but you kind of started picking up on like, if I'm facing you and stuff like that, and you're like, hey, she'll kind of like quickly like look like almost distracted almost, and like look somewhere else. So you always kind of make that contact with the left side of her body.
Do I still feel any like repulsive? Not in like the ugly,
Being
like,
repulsive.
Yeah,
Being
like the magnetic, like
you're
force.
No,
So repulsive.
that seems to be kind of going away. Every now and again, you get like a slight, static shock, but
Okay.
you could blame it on the humidity.
No more blueness in the eyes.
No more blueness. Her eyes are still a little bit brighter than usual, but it's not like Razden from Mortal Kombat shocking eye lightning. Like you got that when she was working her magic, but now it's very, very calm.
Okay.
So
cool.
So that's where you're sitting at. The group that went back to town, roll a perception for me, please.
23.
19.
9.
So you two notice that there has been some subtle changes to the camp since the last time you were here. The rocks are gone, or the villagers, or they're no longer kind of in that main like hallway, kind of like in that rundown building.
Where
to
did
one
they
as
go?
well. You also notice that the mayor is no longer there. You do see that there was one of the mosquitoes that you killed off is now kind of like spit roasted on a fire, and it looks like it was being cooked. The fire's out now, but it looks like there were chunks eaten out of it, and then there were a couple other bodies and stuff like that piled up instead of just kind of where you left them after that fight. So it looks like there was a little bit of cleanup here. It looks like he cooked up some meat and then he left. So the main reason you're here, the box of supplies is still there, still sealed. You kind of point the golem in the direction, it picks it up and leaves before kind of like looking around a bit.
Can I scout the area, look for tracks, see if I can figure out which direction he went?
Sure.
What would that be, survival?
Yeah.
Okay, so 19.
You do see a fresh set of tracks, and it looks like they're burdened. They sink definitely. Like there's a lot of weight being put onto each one of these footsteps. One like kind of shambling more than another, so you got kind of more of a prominent footprint, and then you kind of have one that looks like it dragged a little bit, and then a prominent footstep, and then kind of like a more smeared one. So it looks like he just kind of wandered kind of closer in the direction where you guys left the base camp, but it kind of goes away as soon as you get more into the deep brush because there's not as much like tracks and stuff like that. But you can kind of see that he did leave and he wasn't like dragged off.
Okay.
You also do see your old footprints. You remember the good times you had leaving.
Dancing
How
around,
does the
fighting
golem
mosquitoes.
do through all of this? Is it still controlled?
Still control. It listens to you. It kind of like follows you. You point it in a direction. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick this up. This is what I'm told to get, and it kind of just head back. It doesn't really like. Kind of like how an RC car sometimes when it gets too far away it like stops and then kind of like gets a connection for a second. It doesn't like stutter and kind of like its magical, connection with Marcilla. So
Okay.
so pretty uneventful considering.
Yeah.
But
We don't find anything else around the camp.
no, but it's just besides the mosquitoes and the missing rocks, everything's kind of.
So it's not like rebuilt at all.
No, it looks like it's just been reorganized a bit before its abandonment.
Did he
Okay.
pack up the townspeople and leave?
Maybe?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm
I was gonna say,
implying.
yeah, I feel like he carried all the stones away.
It's like, come
Take
along
my
now.
rock collection. Yeah.
Well,
Like,
do we want to
Slightly
try and
Do you use
morbid,
reagents?
but-
yeah.
What do you use for
follow him or
alchemy?
just let him do his thing?
He's been doing fine on his own for a while. I think he's
what do you
alright.
I don't know how you're...
Fine.
mean,
Okay.
For a
Yeah.
crazy old man. he's doing
I live
fine.
alone in the woods. Do weird things.
That's true.
Since I'm an alchemist.
I mean, we came here for the supplies. We got the supplies.
Yeah.
I'd say we had all back.
That's true.
You
Should
just,
we leave him a
I don't
note?
know if like you have components that you use.
So
Could.
what I'm gonna say now
Paper.
I
is
use
Fair enough.
you guys settle down for the night. You guys level up.
Hey, old
Yay.
man.
Oh,
shit.
Oh, no.
Along with that,
Oh,
we
God.
can make this an extended kind of like buying session, level up session too.
Nice.
But I figure since you guys camped, you guys did a lot. You had a round of combat, a lot of role play. I think it's.
It's been so many days.
No,
It's been like half of one, maybe.
I
It
can't.
went from like sunset to
It's been
nighttime.
one sleep.
Just go by sleeps.
Yeah.
Yeah, cycles.
Oh, I haven't seen her in 20 sleeps.
It's been 20 sleeps since the last time I slept. Did you go back in time? Did we lose all sleeps? So you guys are going to level 4?
Oh.
Three. Okay.
Oh wow, we're still so low level.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I don't think about it very often.
I mean, we meet up. We don't play that often, so yeah.
No, we're on. This would be episode 11, I think, total. So
It's pretty reasonable.
yeah, if you kind of look back and see what happened, like it feels a lot longer than because this channel's only been around for a year. So we've it's not.
So we've been playing this campaign for like a year.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I
Yeah,
know.
You started playing it. You guys
At my older.
in a split second panic rolled this character before coming over to Dusty's old place when I got back from Florida. So we were at Ron's place.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I like the character you came up with. Sometimes the split second characters are the best character. Like,
I mean, I just have a bad habit of always playing wizard because I want to be a wizard in real life. So.
there's comfort characters. I always comfort character into like sorcerers or like rangers.
I think
Like
at this point, clerics are my comfort class.
comfort class.
I actually so far really like the alchemist.
I think Alchemist in second
That's
edition
really,
is really cool.
really like unique. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, it's the hunter was cool and like
what is your
it could probably be a little bit like basic. I like playing that character. Kind of like I was like a hunter druid. What was the class that it was the combo class?
We were doing the hunter, which was a ranger plus
That's what-
druid.
Right, and I liked that for sure.
But
We started you off with the multi-class for your first
Right.
D&D, which was like maybe we.
Yeah, that was the weird thing about the advanced class guide. Was that it was just a combination of it was like multi-classing but not multi-classing, and it expected you to kind of like it wasn't very clear on where shit was in the book, especially for
Yes.
a hybrid caster.
for leveling up his man, yes, but it was just so tempting. Like that just sounded so
Really cool
cool.
shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you in a one-shot one of these days because I don't think you've ever played 5th Ed, so you should
No,
you should try it.
I mean,
Fifth out of what?
I don't work for Hasbro anymore. I'm fine to joke around about it.
We're not sponsored.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Tarkadia Rising. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Smash that like button, and let us know what you think about the upcoming changes to being an audio-only podcast for this point forward. If you like it, you hate it. Also, let us know if you listen to any other D&D or role-playing podcasts where you listen to, and we might start posting to those areas as well. This episode kind of ended on a weird note. We kind of went into a tangent about some stuff we can't talk about on camera, so I had to cut it here. And then I believe we leveled at the end of this episode, so there might be some power creep that you might not hear about right away. So be patient with that, and we will get everything under one roof in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching, or listening in this case, and I will see you guys in the next episode whenever that is finished being edited. See you guys then.